The Vietnam War wasn't just a war fought in jungles thousands of miles away. It was a war paid for by American taxpayers, families, and future generations. More than half a century later, one question still lingers in American history. How much did the Vietnam War really cost the United States? Not just in dollars spent during the fighting, but in long-term economic damage, debt, and obligations that lasted for decades. In this video, we're not talking about politics or strategy. We're counting the money and uncovering the true price of one of America's most controversial wars. On paper, the Vietnam War officially cost the United States about $168 billion between 1955 and 1975. At the time, that number already shocked the nation. To put it into perspective, that was more than the U.S. government spent on all federal education programs combined during those years. But here's the problem. That number only tells part of the story, because $168 billion in the 1960s is not the same as $168 billion today. When we adjust Vietnam War spending for inflation, the real cost becomes far more staggering. In today's dollars, the Vietnam War cost the United States over $1 trillion. Yes, $1 trillion. That means every bomb dropped, every helicopter deployed, every supply shipment across the Pacific was far more expensive than it seemed at the time. And American taxpayers didn't feel this cost all at once. They felt it slowly, year after year. At its peak, the U.S. had over 500,000 troops stationed in Vietnam. The average cost per deployed American soldier was roughly $150,000 per year in today's money. That includes training, equipment, transport, food, weapons, and medical care. At its height, the Vietnam War was costing the United States over $2 billion per month, every single month. Unlike World War II, Vietnam was largely funded through borrowing. The U.S. government avoided raising taxes significantly, choosing instead to issue debt. This led to rising inflation in the late 1960s and weakened the American dollar. In simple terms, Americans were paying for the war without fully realizing it, until prices at home started climbing. The war didn't end financially in 1975. Millions of Vietnam veterans returned home, and the government committed to decades of medical care, disability payments, mental health treatment, veteran pensions. These long-term obligations added hundreds of billions of dollars to the total cost. Even today, the United States is still paying Vietnam War-related expenses. Every dollar spent on Vietnam was a dollar not spent elsewhere. Infrastructure, education, healthcare, and social programs were delayed or underfunded. The war reshaped America's economy, contributed to inflation, and permanently changed how Americans viewed government spending on war. The cost wasn't just financial, it was generational. So how much did the Vietnam War really cost the United States? Officially, $168 billion. In today's money, over $1 trillion, and counting. But the real cost can't be measured only in numbers. Vietnam taught America a hard lesson. Wars don't end when the fighting stops. The bills keep coming. This is Battles and Bills, and this was the true cost.